you. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. And thank you. And it meant that I could be home and rest, which was great with my husband and then with myself, now with both of us. So a couple of announcements. But I think because it's foremost in my mind. So I'm still a little sick, but I'm not contagious. If I start coughing, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. And I also spent from about 8:30 this morning till about 3:30 this afternoon at the Board of Supervisors. Beth was there and Ellen was there and Debbie was there and a bunch of other people with the Sanctuary Coalition. The Board of Supervisors is trying to come up with this sanctuary ordinance. And I'm going to be judgmental mind. I feel so sorry for grown-ups. A bunch of us got up and got to say something, and at the end I was quoting Suzuki Roshi about how in an expert's mind there's no possibilities. And in a beginner's mind is I just said, back it up. You know, I mean, it's like, look at the whole world. We're going off a cliff and nobody can back it up. Although maybe it got so bad, we're starting to back it up a little bit. So I was thinking, I'm so grateful to practice because I don't feel like I need to know what I'm doing. I mean, in the most profound way, because what I watched was a bunch of good grown-ups in the room, you know, called the Board of Supervisors, and then all these advisory councils and, you know, then all the papers and and because they'd spent so much time following this line of thinking, nobody could stop and say, wait a minute, where are we now and what do we need to do? How do we take care of each other in this situation? Which I think is what's happening in the world too. But it takes courage to just take a breath, say, maybe it's not the way we thought it was. Maybe we don't know what we're doing, and maybe there's some wisdom if we could all just sit down together. Well, as we do. I mean, everybody knows how to do this. It's not so complicated. You stop and you breathe in and you breathe out and you say, what is it? And then to me, part of the joy of practice is because I'm a pretty shy, scared person, is there's also somebody that's a Buddha body that we all kind of know and taste in ourselves, and you more and more just trust it, and it does things and then you just sort of go along for the ride. It's a much more interesting way to live. And you know you're going to make mistakes, but you're going to make mistakes, right? So it's like, what's true? Just moment after moment. So before I get too far ahead of myself, the announcements are, is it the 19th? We're doing the April all-day sitting with Buddha's birthday at Open Sky, which will be really fun and wonderful. And please come and please bring flowers. And it's one of the delightful things that we get to do. And then we're going to step off into complete not knowing because somehow through 100 million thousand causes and conditions, the Pepperwood Preserve, I was looking at their website. It's ancient, beautiful land, Wapo land, sacred land, faces right into Mount St. Helena. But the emphasis has been on science. And I mean, which is wonderful because they pull in all these young people and they do these great programs. But I was looking at so somehow Ben, who is one of the kind of elder, eccentric, wonderful beings there, convinced everybody that maybe it would be a good place to do some spiritual stuff instead of just science stuff. Maybe there's another way to be on this land. And I was surprised when I looked on the website that there's very little that addresses that. So I'm starting to understand why we and a few other groups, but we, Dharma Zen, got invited there to just, nobody knows, but to find out, to listen, to find out what's this land saying and what's it asking of us and what's needed in this period of time. And there's a council of elders that Ben has pulled together, Native American elders, and they meet there. And so we're gonna do our first one-day retreat on May 3rd. And I really hope, I mean, for some people, it just won't make sense, and that's fine. But for others of us, and I think maybe others of us who we don't even know yet, we'll spend half the day sitting. Ben will give us an introduction to the land because he has a very deep he's half Jewish and half Native American. He's just a great human being. And then we'll spend most of the afternoon on the land, sitting or walking or finding out what we're doing there. What's this place asking of us? So we'll be sending out, we've been working, a few of us, trying to define this, and we'll be sending it out on Friday. So please consider. I think it'll be fun and important in a quiet way. So we did Vasubandhu's consciousness only. And Thich Nhat Hanh, as I think Rachel and Malcolm brought forward, understanding the mind. He took the 20 verses that we've been studying, and he turned them into 50 verses, 20 and 30 verses. And he said when he came to the West, he realized we needed 50 verses as a kind of roadmap to practice, to kind of help us take apart that which we just did. So I kind of want to go backwards to go forwards of what we're going to do for the next few weeks, because I have been having, Thich Nhat Hanh was, I've probably said this, I remember sitting in study hall at Tassajara, and when I was in my 20s, and Thich Nhat Hanh, was before everybody knew him. And one of his books came down into Tassajara, and I just thought, this is it. This is, because Buddhism was nice, but it was kind of intellectual and a little cold. But Thich Nhat Hanh was like, well, and then, then this happened, then that happened, and that happened, and this happened. And I kind of remembered him and forgot him. But now I just think, what? Wow, this is Thich Nhat Hanh came out of really crazy, awful times. And all these practices, I just want us to take what we learned from the 20 verses and the 50 verses and to enter how he brought them forward, because I'm absolutely sure a whole book on anger. Anybody here angry? Mm-hmm. I got up and gave a little talk at the Board of Supervisors today, and Lindsay, who's a really feisty Methodist minister, said to me, I didn't know Buddhists got angry. I mean, I hope I was skillfully angry, but anyway, here's one about fear. Anybody afraid? No. Yeah. So when I've led retreats with veterans, combat veterans, Iraq, Afghan, who came back with moral injury. I watch what we're asking people to do in the military now, and my heart just breaks. I mean, it breaks for us as a nation, because moral injury is real. It's a new word, but it's real. And then with the firefighters, peace is every step. And it's so simple, and it's one of his first books, but it's just, I want to bring some of that forward today. And then there's this really, we'll see, I'm going to pick and choose as we go through. But this is so Be Free Where You Are. It's a talk he gave in a Maryland prison. I mean, like Thich Nhat Hanh didn't just stay in the monastery. He went out and he tried to help people, and it's a really lovely. It's called skillful means. You know, you take it out of. I mean, like Norman Fisher said, when Dogen was in a monastery, he taught to monastics. When Dogen moved out of the monastic situation and was practicing with lay people, he spoke a different way. Norman Fisher, when he was a monastic and an abbot at Zen Center, his teachings were a certain way. And then when he founded Everyday Zen, his teachings changed. Same teachings, but different. And that's what is entrusted to all of us is so please, we need to sit deep understanding, you know, all the way through. And then how do we make it accessible to people? This is what I love. So that's, I'm hoping what we're going to do. And then I thought, maybe you all figured this out before, and maybe I figured it out before and then I forgot it. But so if we remember the three manas, the three God, what do they call them? My brain is. Anyway, it's the imaginary, it's the dependent, and it's the completely realized, which is the imaginary, which is it's all projection, which is this world. This is the world that we perceive in dualities. The completely realized is the non-dual world, which is really kind of what Zen, because of Dogen and causes and conditions. Zen is rooted in non-dualism, which is very beautiful and can also be a little not non-dual sometimes. Thich Nhat Hanh, because his tradition in Vietnam is part Theravada and part Mahayana, where he landed was so clearly in the middle with the dependent and inter-be is just look and see that everything is complete mystery and wonder, and everything is exactly what it is. And the teaching is always Buddha taught the middle way. It's like a koan. What's the middle way? What is it to be here completely, and to know completely being here is what is it? You just don't know. And you bring everything that you knew to the minute before to it. So I'm going to encourage us to be a Thich Nhat Hanh groupie for a few weeks here and look at his teachings again through present time. So I thought that I would go backwards and understanding the mind. I can't find my copy. Maybe I lent it to somebody. But in the 50 verses, in the final verses. So if you'll humor me a little bit. The final, I don't know, final 40, 43 to 50 or something, he calls it the way of practice. And I think you brought forward some of that. Meditating on the nature of interdependence can transform delusion into enlightenment. Samsara and suchness are not two. They are one and the same. This world of suffering, samsara, is not other than the mystery and wonder of everything flowing in and out of everything else and inter-be. They're not separate, no matter how much our mind tries to separate them. So I'm just going to say some of the things that Thich Nhat Hanh said. When we live in mindfulness, I don't like the word mindfulness. I mean, it was fine, but then it's been overused and it's been sold and bought and I've watched people doing mindfulness that just look to me, that doesn't look very embodied to me. Actually, it's funny. It's I'm looking around and people are just like, maybe heartfulness or embodiedness or something, but we'll use the word because he used it. But let's keep asking, what is it? When we live in this embodied, awake place, we are able to see the interdependent nature at the heart of things and transform our ignorance into insight. Delusion becomes enlightenment. We see that what we formerly perceived as samsara, which is the world of suffering, is really none other than nirvana. Is no other than, I don't know a good word for nirvana, is no other than everything's perfect just as it is and so much more wonderful than you can even begin to imagine. How, and we're talking about wiping out a whole culture, you know? Doesn't that make you wonder? It makes me wonder all the time about what this is. Mindfulness of the nature of interdependence is the key to this transformation and the three natures, the imaginary, the interdependent, and the non-dual or ultimate reality. He reminds us most of the time we take the imaginary, the constructed world created by our mind as reality. That's what it felt like sitting in the board of supervisors today. They were so sure about reality, and they could do it in bullet points. And I mean, they're smart, and it's not like they're bad people, but they were defined. They had reality completely defined by committees and things that had been through visions and revisions. And the opposite of the world of imaginary is the nature of things as they are. Is not subject to construction or conceptualization. The minute you use a word, which we have to do, we've already made it small, but we just need to keep knowing that we're doing that. In the realm of things in themselfness, there is no birth, no death, no one, no many, no coming, no going, no existence, no non-existence. This is thusness and suchness. Sounds good, or maybe it doesn't. But how do we practice it and how do we live it? Thich Nhat says, by deep looking. I think it's by deep looking, but I'd also say deep listening. I think so much of Avalokiteshvara in 1,000 hands and eyes. It's a full body activated. That's what Zazen body is. So you just sit down in the midst of everything, and every cell, every atom is alive and intuiting everything. And then you've got a little ticking brain that's got concepts that's telling you, that's feeding all of this new and alive information through what you think you know. It's really very sad and kind of amazing and kind of funny sometimes. When we are able to transform deluded mind into true mind through the practice of seeing the nature of interbeing of all things, we reach the realm of things in themselves. If we know how to walk with solidity and freedom, the ground under our feet is heaven. If we walk with sorrow, fear, and anger, we walk in hell. It all depends on our way of walking and our way of being. That's practice. That's what we keep coming back to. And I'm not lecturing this to you because you don't know this. I think you know this and I know this, but it's a continuous practice. You never get it. It's like awake, awake, confused, 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 awake. Is like the water in the wave. We think that there is one moment when the wave begins and one moment when it ceases to be, and so we get caught in the fear of birth and death. But it's just appearances, just notions. And because of this, we suffer. In the realm of interdependence or interbe, or I would say the question of what is it? What's really true here in this moment? An awake, curious mind full of wonder. We're free of all notions. And we realize, here's the word that's always been a koan for me and continues to be non-fear. What is non-fear? Jizo is fearless. I always say, I love, that's why I love, one of the reasons I love little Jizo is fearless. But then I think, what is fearless? I don't know. Jizo has a little bodhisattva being, there's a real innocence to Jizo. And Jizo is actually happy. And Jizo just like, oh, give me a good hell realm because then I can just, there'll be something to do. I don't know, that inspires me. Non-fear is the greatest relief, and it happens through the practice of weeping deeply. So here's verse 50, Thich Nhat Hanh, in his 50 verses. And it's called No Fear. When we realize that afflictions are no other than enlightenment, that there's no separation, we can ride the waves of birth and death in peace, traveling in the boat of compassion on the ocean of delusion, smiling the smile of non-fear, just in your little boat. Maybe I've told you this, and we were out in a boat on Lake Tahoe, a sailboat, and we sailed to the other shore. And we were sleeping out on the deck, and it was a full moon night, and all of a sudden I woke up in the middle of the night. I mean, who knows if I was awake or asleep or what I was, but Suzuki Roshi was at the rudder. We just there with the full moon behind him, and then he hooted like an owl. I thought, I don't understand this, but this is my life. But it's all of our lives. We're all out in these little boats. And we got Suzuki Roshi, or we got Jizo, or we got the whole world is just there at the rudder, and the sun and the moon and the nights and the stars and the waves and the water. And we just kind of entrust ourselves to the boat. And to karma in the deepest sense of, here I am. I don't know what I'm doing. But here we are. Thich Nhat Hanh says about this verse, the final verse of the 50 verses describes the bodhisattva, an enlightened being who, instead of entering nirvana, instead of saying, get me out of here, I would really like, if there's some way to transcend all of this, just dissolve and poof, being, non-being, whatever. What a bodhisattva says is, no, I want to be here. So the story is that a bodhisattva, lifetime after lifetime, I mean, who knows about anything, but a bodhisattva just keeps saying, I want to go back and help. Sometimes I think, that was a really dumb thing to do. But I also know, what else are you going to do? And then once you know that you kind of made that vow, then you still kick and scream, but then you just keep trying. Chooses to stay in the world of birth and death to help others. Bodhisattvas dwell on the same ground as the rest of us, the world of birth and death, permanence and self, but thanks to the practice of looking deeply into impermanence and non-self, we are also simultaneously in touch with the realm of suchness, with the realm of emptiness, with the realm of alive, dynamic, flowing. Which is why they can be free from the fears associated with, oh my God. Does it ever occur to you how scared you are about dying? Does that ever, I mean, it must come up sometimes. No, doesn't come up? Oh, well, you might want to investigate it. When Bruce was really sick, I looked at him and I thought, he's going to die. I mean, not now, probably, maybe, but what's that going to do to my life? And then it occurred to me, well, he looks like he's in a lot of pain. That not just him, I mean, it's like, study your fear. Whether you have a cold or a cough or whatever it is. To be able to remain in the world of waves while abiding in the nature of water. And then he reminds us that actually in the Lotus Sutra, who some of us studied and drove us all a little bit crazy, but some of us still love it anyway. Constance isn't here. When she was Shuso, she led us. The bodhisattvas in the Lotus Sutra are all in the realm of action. So in the Lotus Sutra, one of the scenes is all the big bodhisattvas, it's like God saints, the big shining ones all look down on the Buddha in this samsara world. And I think they must feel kind of sorry for him. It's like, how did you get into this mess down there with all those messy people? And they say, can we come down and help you? And you know what the Buddha says? Oh, no, thank you. There are bodhisattvas here. And they've been practicing down under the earth, and they're just here and ready whenever they're needed. And then all of a sudden, we all pop up out of the earth because we've been there practicing the whole time. But you don't exactly know what you're going to be called on and what's going to bring forward your bodhisattva nature. And it's like today, 8 people decided to get arrested in the board of supervisors.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I tried to
The
find
phone
that.
rang and they answered.
I
I mean, you just never
tried to
know.
find that and silence it, and I didn't find it.
So in the world of pain and grief, these bodhisattvas are still able to smile with compassion and fearlessness because they are able to touch and see the non-duality, to just watch all of our afflictions and our confusion moving through and disappearing, and to just keep touching the earth, which is what we're going to call the Pepperwood retreats. We said, what should we call this? And then I, in the middle of the night, I thought of Buddha's earth-touching gesture, which is one of my most favorites. And then Rachel had the same thought. And then I looked it up. And Thich Nhat Hanh has a whole practices called touching the earth. You just touch the earth. Non-fear is the greatest practice in Buddhism. To free ourselves from all fear, we must touch the ground of our being and train ourselves to look directly into the light of compassion. Just touch the earth, just this moment. You get scared, just be with fear. Get angry, just touch the earth. Be here, breathing in and out, anger with and for all beings. A bodhisattva handles enlightenment and afflictions in the same way a skillful gardener handles flowers and garbage without discrimination. Like, oh, look what the world brought me this moment. She knows how to do the work of transformation, and so she's no longer afraid. This is the attitude of a Buddha. "24 brand new hours. Every morning, when we wake up, we have 24 brand new hours to live. What a precious gift. We have the capacity to live in a way that these 24 hours will bring peace, joy, and happiness to ourselves and others. Peace is present right here and now in ourselves and in everything we do and see. The question is whether or not we are in touch with it. We don't have to travel far away to enjoy the blue sky. We don't have to leave our city or even our neighborhood to enjoy the eyes of a beautiful child. Even the air we breathe can be a source of joy. But we have difficulty remembering that we are alive in the present moment. The only moment there is for us to be alive. Every breath we take, every step we make can be filled with peace, joy, and serenity. Every breath we take, every step we make can be filled with peace, joy, and serenity. We need only to be awake and alive in the present moment. Peace and happiness are available in every moment. Peace is every step. You believe it? I don't. I think to me, the miracle is is that I can be simultaneously or flashing in and out of existence, peaceful, joyful, happiness, angry, afraid, despairing, that it's the whole bucket, and it's the no bucket. I think that to me is the most amazing thing, is you don't have, it's a middle way. You don't have to pick or choose. You just. So, okay, we have a little bit of time. Well, I don't know, should we go into groups or should we just talk together? What do you want to do?
Talk together.
You just said the middle way.
Okay,
It
say
really
more.
speaks to me, because I keep thinking I have to change something. Well, I can be in the, both of it and be in the, thank you. It's a relief.
It is it's all a relief. That's what I think about practice, is it's such a relief. That's why I felt so sorry for the people in the Board of Supervisors, because they didn't know that. I mean, maybe they know that, and I don't mean to be, what is that, I just think it's really awful to have expertise